Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. I bid to Dr. Azim and my fellow friends. We are from Group J, which the member are on Julin, Muhammad Farhan bin Nur Azmi, Muhammad Iqmal bin Muhammad Saad. I'm a Fitri bin Shahrum and also me myself Nur Najihah binti Abdul Razak. So for today's video, the video is for Gyroscope new application in which we choose for the application is the feeding toddler gyro bowl. So we proceed with the first agenda or first task that we want to explain about the application is the introduction of the gyroscope itself. Muhammad Iqmal will explain about that.
Okay, thank you, Nur Najihah. So for the introduction, what is gyroscope? Gyroscope is a mechanical device that mounts to a frame and can be interact to the angular velocity well if the frame is rotating. This frame tends to rotate on its axis that remain parallel to itself and oppose any interference to change its orientation. The mesh will navigate freely in three different axes, which are X, Y, and Z axis. Whenever the gyroscope is installed on a gimbal and the spinning axis, and it will not change, even the frame change direction. Okay, someone may.
Okay, so the next one is about the feeding toddler gyro bowl. Okay, what is this about? Okay, the feeding toddler gyro bowl is include that we design, which is include outer ring, main body, colander, and also the holder. Okay, the holder is for the outer frame in use to hold when the baby to hold in, which is while the baby is eating. Okay, this container will ensure there is no spill when the position is upside down or when there is pressure applied. This container also avoid the food that handled by the baby from spilling, especially when it is in a position 360 degree. So the next one is about the design that will be explained by Jinlin.
So thank you, GR. So next I'll be explaining on the design for outer ring, main body, and colander. So for the outer ring, is basically the part that connects the main body and the outermost layer or the plate, so-called. So basically the thickness for each and every part will be sustained as 0.5 millimeter, if not 5 millimeter, if not mistaken. So for here, the outer diameter is 90 and the inner diameter is 85. So the overall thickness will be 2.5. And for this outer ring, there will be two holes on each side. The holes will be 7.5 millimeter in diameter. And that's for outer ring. And next, I'll move on to main body. So the main body is basically a cup shape that actually fill or take up the foot of the baby foot, and the thickness is still remain as 2.5, but the diameter is changed to 80 or radius of 40, and the inner diameter is 87.5, but the inner radius is 37.5, and difference is the two side, instead of hole, there will be shaft or basically a pad that will go through the outer ring and connect with the outer layer. So the radius is also 7.5 so that it can fit through the outer ring. So next, for the colander is basically the riser, or basically the part that rinds off the fall off baby foot from the main body. So the outer layer will be slightly larger compared to the main body, since it's the outermost layer of the second outermost layer outside the main body. So the radius will be 48.75 for the outer radius, and the inner radius will be 46.25. And note that there will be three small extrusion that extrude out from the bottom layer of the colander that support the body when it is put on a flat surface, so that it can remain in an upright position. And the radius is 5.75 millimeter. And note that there will be a few holes at the bottom layer, which is made of ellipse shape, that act as the whole of the colander. So next I'll pass to Paan for the continuation of the design.
So thank you, Jun. Now I'd like to explain about the outer layer or the bowl holder. So actually the outer layer or bowl holder acts as the main base connector which assemble all the components of the gyro bowl. It has width of 181 millimeter with a corner radius of 51 millimeter. 4 holes will drill at each of the holder corners, act as the holder. And at the center, there was a hole for all the components of the gyro ball to be assembled. So the radius of the hole is 49.2 millimeter. So there were 2 smaller holes drilled on the side of the center of the body, which is inside the hole, which act as the connector hole with the main body. So lastly, the thickness of the bowl holder was 7 to 8 millimeter. So next. So this is the final product of the gyro ball in 3D model. All the components of the gyro were completely assembled. Each component of the gyro ball was connected with each other. So the attachment of each gyro ball component makes the ball functionally in gyroscope mechanism. So now I would like to proceed with the mechanism of the gyroscope application. So this gyro ball is to prevent the food in the bowl from spilling using gyroscope mechanism. The bowl can adjust to imbalance condition without spilling. It can hold either horizontally or vertically without spilling of food and allowing it to rotate 360 degrees. So there will be a gimbal, rotator, spin axis, and gyroscope frame in the development of this application. So this gyro ball mechanism enables the toddlers to feed themselves and prevent any food falling on the ground. So generally, the mechanism of this feed toddler gyro ball function in like a globe. Usually, the components that are included in the gyro ball, as what I said before, which is the gimbal, rotator, spin axis, and gyroscope frame. So the ball is suspended on the gimbal that is connected to a rotator with the help of shock absorption system. So next is the rotator is attached to the spin axis, secured in the gyroscope frame, and then it can adjust to any imbalance condition because of that gyroscope frame and rotator. Next, then lastly, it enables the bowl to stay open without a lid, and the food will remain inside it even if the bowl is moving around. So now I would like to pass it.
Okay, the next one is the advantages and disadvantages of the application. This will be explained by Aiman Fitri.
Okay, thank you, Najiha and Farhan. So for the last part is the advantages and disadvantages of the gyro ball. So as we know, this gyro ball usually used by kids. The parents buy it for kids to eat. So the first one is the gyro ball is easy to hold because we can see the handle is quite big enough for a hand of kid to hold the gyro ball. So the gyro ball is light because it is not made of steel. It's just made of the simple material, just like plastic and so on. And the gyro ball can be used in multiple ways. So as we know, the gyroscope mechanism make the gyro ball can turn 360 degree without spilling any of the food inside it, and it present any unwanted spatter like I just said just now. So the disadvantages, the gyro ball isn't preferable for watery fluid because as we know, watery fluid can easily spill even though if it is have slightly pressure applied. So the gyro ball also is safe, yet supervision is required. What I mean here is, as we see in the design, there are no sharp edge on the ball itself. But even though there is no sharp edge, the parents must supervise the children when using the ball because it may be dangerous for the children. So I think that's all for me. I pass back to Najiha.
Okay, I think that's all for us for this presentation. Thank you.